Alex, I mean, Kathleen laid it out pretty extensively about what the different scenarios are. I mean, of course, there is an economic impact, a market impact, but there's also political will involved as well. Who do you think is likely to kind of see this trade friction and trade tension through? Is it going to be the U.S. more so or China?
You know, it's hard to say. I do think that this round, there's going to be, it's less based on bluster and negotiation tactics, and I do think we will see more tit-for-tat retaliatory tariffs. And based on the three scenarios that your correspondent outlined, you know, I think, you know, we could see the whole world retaliating or just China and the U.S. I do think there's a much bigger narrative here that's being missed. And that narrative is about non-tariff barriers, particularly regarding this U.S.-China rivalry. And I think those non-tariff barriers are going to be focused on tech, right? So we really are heading into, as part of this broader narrative, a much, much more pervasive long-term tech war between the United States. Some would call it a hybrid Cold War. And what we're going to see as a result of that is increased tariffs, increased export controls, increased licensing, blocked acquisitions. And these are actually going to have a much more profound effect on global value chains.
And Alex, I mean, we certainly saw that with Micron overnight, with reports saying that they've been banned in China on this patent case. Does this actually stand to hurt more for China? I mean, given the fact that all these semiconductor companies rely a lot on this market, it's not exactly home to a lot of production, so to speak, and the technology itself in China alone, they can't exactly do it independently.
That's right. And if we look back at this ZTE debacle, we see how dependent, you know, a premier top-tier Chinese tech company is on Western technology, on Western IP and Western patents. So we're going to see much more of that. I think the U.S. president has asked for an extension or an enlarged list of strategic trade goods, which means more export licensing, which means very onerous supply chain traceability activity. It means that certain suppliers are going to be cut off because they don't qualify or they have dubious records and therefore will be excluded from supply chains. So I think this really is the area to watch. And I think companies really need to be looking at these types of scenarios and how that's going to affect their value chains.